Welcome to your yoga practice. We'll start in a child's pose, so making sure that the knees are at a 45-degree angle. The toes are touching, the buttocks is resting onto the heels, the arms are stretched out in front of you, and forehead is resting onto the mat. Make sure you are softening the shoulders away from the ears. And just come to find a bit of stillness and softness. And just observe how the body is feeling today. Maybe you have a bit of stiffness, maybe you haven't moved in a while. That's okay. Just acknowledge how you are feeling in this space. And start to become aware of your breathing, noticing how the belly rises and falls with every inhalation and exhalation. I want you to really connect with your breath now. So with every inhale count, inhale 2, 3, 4, and with every exhale count, exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4, feel the belly rise, and exhale 2, 3, 4. Belly softens towards the spine. You can just continue connecting to your breath count, so inhaling and exhaling out through the nose, starting to adjust the count to what works for you, but making sure that your inhalation is the same as your exhalation. If you would like, you can start to connect with your Ujjayi pranayama, that slight constriction of the back of your throat, creating an oceanic audible breathing. And now just start to turn your attention towards your mind. And as always, we begin our practice by setting an intention, something we would like to cultivate within this practice that we can carry both on our mat and off of our mat. So anything that serves us, maybe it's an affirmation such as, I am calm, I am joy, I am grateful. Whatever you feel will serve you. Maybe it's not an affirmation, maybe it's simply to let go. And you just repeat that phrase to yourself. Or maybe you'd like to dedicate your practice to someone, sending them positive energy and love. That's okay too. So just picking something you'd like to work with for the next hour or so. And now with our breath count set and our intention sealed, we're going to inhale and walk the fingertips over to the left-hand side, allowing the body to move with us. So creating a beautiful side body stretch for the right-hand side of the body. And exhale, just breathe into the stretch. And then inhale, we walk the fingertips back to the center of the mat. Take a breath here. And with your next inhale, you're going to walk the fingertips over to the right hand side now. Feeling a beautiful side body stretch for the left hand side of the body. Breathing here. Inhale and exhale. With your next inhale, walk the fingertips back to the center of the mat and then come to find your box shape. So stack the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees, and tuck into the toes. We're going to use our breath and move through a simple cat-cow now. So starting with cow, we inhale, drop the belly, arch into the back, gaze comes slightly up. And as you exhale, round into the spine, drop your chin to your chest, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, cow. And exhale, round into the spine, cat. Do this about 5 more times, just moving with your own breath count, which you have established. And please feel welcome to bring movement into the neck as well. Maybe you want to move the neck from side to side when you reach your cat pose. That can be quite lovely. And with your next exhale, come to find stillness. Just creating that box shape once more. We're going to do shoulder circles now. So what we're going to do is sweep that right hand along the mat on the exhale, and then inhale, reach that hand up to the sky, gaze to your fingers. Exhale, sweep that right hand along the mat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, reach. 2 more. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, reach, gaze follows. 1 more, exhale, sweep, inhale, reach, and hold. And with your next exhale, thread that right hand through the space on the left hand side. Rest that right ear onto the mat, reach that left arm in front of you. You're in thread the needle now. So your hips are still stacked over your knees. Just warming up the shoulders, warming up the spine. And with your next inhale, come back to your box shape. We'll do those shoulder sweeps again. So as you exhale, sweep that left hand along the mat. As you inhale, reach it up to the sky. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, reach. Your gaze follows your fingertips. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, reach. Last one. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, reach, and hold. And then exhale, thread that left hand through the space on the right hand side. Reach that right arm up in front of you, left ear rests onto the mat. Thread the needle. Again, make sure that your hips are directly over your knees. See if you can twist a little bit deeper, maybe walk that right hand up a little bit more. And with your next inhale, you're going to untwist and pick yourself back up, creating that box shape again. Pause here for a moment. Maybe you want to roll into the head again. Maybe you want to roll the wrists one at a time. And then what we're going to do is come into our plank pose. So if you would like, you can drop the knees to the mat. So using the support of your knees. But otherwise we'll come into our full plank pose. So tucking the toes, activating the legs, activating the core, and importantly, we're stacking the shoulders over the wrists. We've got a slight rounding into the upper back. Make sure your bum isn't sticking up or sagging down. Here for just one more breath. And then lower just your knees if they aren't there already, your chest, your chin, stick the bum up to the sky, and then slide forward onto your belly, come to find your low cobra. So squeezing the elbows into your sides, letting the hands hover, let the tops of the feet be flat into the mat. The legs are active, so the knees are off of the mat, and your chest is peeling up off of the mat. Your gaze is forward and down, so we're not straining the neck by looking up to the sky or anything like that. Good. Inhale and exhale, make your way back into your child's pose, just as we started the practice. So knees are wide, buttocks rest onto the heels, hands are stretched out in front of you and forward on the mat. We're going to make our way into our first downward facing dog of the practice now. So making sure the fingers are spread wide, tucking into the toes, send the bum up, come to find your downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we want the length to be the same as your plank, so you can go ahead and measure that out. We also want to make sure that we're rolling out of the shoulders, so almost wrapping the biceps up towards the sky and pointing the index fingers to the top of the mat. We're shrugging the shoulders away from the ears. We're nice and active into our arms, and our feet are also drawing down to the mat. So the feet must be hip distance apart. If the hammies are really tight, you can bring a bend into the knees. And of course, any movement here is welcome. This is our first down dog of the day. So maybe you want to paddle out the legs if you haven't done that already. Shake the neck. Here for just 2 more breaths. And if at any point you want to come and rest in your child's pose, pause the video, that's okay too. Gaze comes forward and you slowly walk the feet to the top of your mat. Make sure they're hip distance apart. Bend into the knees, grab either elbow, let the head hang and rock from side to side. So we're releasing tension in our lower back here. Maybe you want to start to straighten the legs, working into the hamstrings a bit. Or maybe you just want to focus on that back. Heel toe the feet together now. Take a bend into the knees and slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra. Standing in Tadasana. So our shoulders are stacked over our hips are stacked over our ankles. Our tailbone is tucked in, our spine is nice and long. We're going to interlace the fingers up ahead of us. So make almost like a gun and point it up to the sky. So your index fingers are pointing to the sky. And with your next exhale, you're going to bend gently to the left hand side, stretching the right hand side of the body. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, stretch to the right hand side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Shrug the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, right. Inhale center, tuck the tailbone, exhale left. Inhale center, exhale right. Inhale, come back to center and shake it out. Give yourself a shimmy. Shake out the hands. Coming into our sun salutations now. We inhale, bring the palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Again, you can bring it, bend into the knees here in your Uttanasana, that's okay. Inhale, we roll the shoulders back, come into your flat back, halfway lift, almost pulling your chest through the space or toward the floor. And exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step to the back of your mat, finding yourself in high plank. Exhale, drop the knees, the chest, the chin, bum sticks up, and just as we did before, we're going to slide forward into our low cobra. Elbows are squeezed to our sides, chest is hovering off of the mat, and tops of the feet are flat into the mat, gaze is forward and down. And exhale, child's pose. With your next exhale, you're going to tuck into the toes, send the bum up, downward facing dog. We'll just be here for 3 breaths. Now gaze comes forward. You're going to step to the top of your mat, landing in halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs, tuck the ribs in. And exhale, hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step, jump or float, high plank. Exhale, you have options here, so you can drop your knees and then lower yourself, Chaturanga, or otherwise just lower, Chaturanga, pause at 90. Inhale, come forward and up dog. Tops of feet are flat into the mat, the hips are drawing towards your hands, and you're activating your back, so squeezing the shoulder blades in towards one another, broadening the chest. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Here for 5 in total. Exhale 5, inhale, exhale 4, inhale, exhale 3, inhale, exhale 2, and inhale, exhale 1. Gaze comes forward, step, jump or float, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, palms to touch, reach the hands up to the sky, gaze to thumbs, tuck the ribs and tailbone in. And exhale, hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. 1 more like that. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step, jump or float, high plank. Exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up, upward facing dog. Hips draw towards the hands. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Here for 5. Exhale 5. Inhale. Exhale 4. Feet are drawing down towards the mat. Inhale. Exhale 3. Roll out of the shoulders. Exhale 2. Inhale. Active thighs. Exhale 1. Gaze comes forward, step, jump or float, landing in your halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky. Gaze to thumbs, tuck the ribs and tailbone in. And exhale, release the hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. Good, just taking a moment here to breathe. feel yourself rooting down to the earth with your feet. And now we're going to make our way into downward facing dog again, just moving through our vinyasa, so the start of our sun salutation. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step, jump or float, high plank. Exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga Dandasana, pausing at 90 degrees. Inhale, forward and up, up dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Good. Here for just 3 breaths. We're going to move through our plank variations now. So we won't be holding them for too long, but really just warming up the body. So from downward facing dog, gaze comes forward, come into your high plank, rounding into that upper back ever so slightly, legs are active, 2 and 1. Move back into your downward facing dog, roll out of the shoulders, feet are drawn down towards the mat. And then with your next inhale, come back into your high plank. From here, you're going to roll onto the blade of your right foot and reach that left arm up towards the sky, stacking the arms so that they are directly on top of one another. In our side plank, we've only got 2 more breaths here. Of course, you can use the left leg for support if needs be. And exhale, roll into your normal high plank. Inhale and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into your high plank again. Then rolling onto the blade of your left foot, reach that right arm up to the sky. Your gaze can be down to that left hand for stability. Again, you can use that right foot for extra support. Just 1 more here. Inhale and exhale, roll into your high plank again here for 3 breaths. And 2, inhale and exhale, 1. Move back to your downward facing dog. Maybe you want to take a child's pose. You're now going to step that right foot lightly in between your hands and pivot onto your back left foot so you're on your left tippy toes, and then rise up with the body. Come to find your high lunge. In our high lunge, we want to make sure that the ribs are tucked, our tailbone is tucked, and the arms are swept alongside our ears. Shoulders, however, are away from our ears, so shoulders drawing down. Our back left leg is nice and active. We've just got 2 more breaths here. Exhale, 2. Inhale and exhale. Open the arms, hips and shoulders. Allow that back left foot to flatten so that it's parallel to the back of your mat. Your heels are in line. You're in your warrior 2 now. We're here for 5 breaths in total. Our hips and shoulders are stacked. Our gaze is over that front right finger. Our shoulders are softened away from our ears. And our front right leg is making a 90-degree angle. Exhale, 2. Inhale, draw that right knee out a little bit, that left hip out, really opening up the hips. And that's our last one. Exhale, 1. You're going to rest that right elbow onto your right knee and sweep that left arm up and over. Find your extended side angle, your extended side angle pose. And your gaze is through that left armpit. Make sure that you're shrugging out of your shoulders, so shoulders away from your ears. And exhale, 1. You're going to place the hands either side of that right foot. Step back, high plank. You can drop the knees here if you would like. Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale forward and up, upward facing dog, and exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Again now, so we're going to repeat that on the other side. You're going to lightly step that left foot in between your hands, and then come to rise up, find your high lunge. Making sure that that back right leg is nice and active. You should be feeling a bit of a hip flexor stretch. And the legs should be engaged, really activating those glutes, those quads. The arms are up besides your ears, and the shoulders are softened down. Tailbone is tucked in. Exhale 2, inhale, and exhale 1. We'll open our arms, hips, shoulders, and flatten that back right foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Come to find your warrior 2. Gazes over your front left hand now. We're opening up the hips, we're broadening the chest, softening the shoulders. Good. Exhale 3, inhale, exhale 2, inhale, exhale 1. Place that left elbow on that left knee now. Sweep the right arm up and over, gaze through your right armpit. Come to find your extended side angle. Again, making sure that the shoulders are shrugged away from the ears. The base, so your legs are exactly like your warrior 2. Good, yeah, just for 3 breaths in total, so this is our last one. Inhale. And exhale, you're going to place the hands either side of that left leg, step back, high plank, and then lower yourself, chaturanga. Inhale forward and up, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. And let's just be kind to ourselves and take a bit of a child's pose, rest here. Maybe you need to catch your breath, maybe your mind has wandered and you need to reconnect with your intention. Go ahead and do that now. Now with your next exhale, you're going to tuck into the toes, send the bum up, we're in downward facing dog once more. You can step the feet so that they are together and keep the shoulders as they are, keep the hands where they are. Inhale, lift up that right leg now. Come into your 3-legged dog. Good. And now, so usually I do like to open the hip in our 3-legged dog. I find it's quite nice, but I really want you to try and close the hips this time. So it makes it a little bit more active. You also can't sink into that left shoulder. So see how that feels. You should feel maybe even a more intense stretch in that left leg that's grounded now. That right glute is nice and active. And with your next exhale, you can place that right foot in between your hands and drop that back left knee, coming into our low crescent lunge. So maybe you want to double up the mat for that left knee. Go ahead and do that. Maybe you want to keep the left toes tucked or untuck them. Just see what makes the knee happy. So now we're going to sweep the arms up alongside our ears like we did for high lunge. We're in a low crescent lunge. I want you to try and be aware of not sinking into your lower back. So making sure you're tucking the ribs, tucking the tailbones, and bending that right knee. Good, here for 2. Inhale. And exhale 1. You're going to lower that left hand to the mat, to about the middle of the mat, to the inside of your right foot. And then reach that right arm up to the sky. Tuck into that left toe if it isn't tucked already. Coming into an easy twist here. If you want a little bit more, you're going to activate that back left leg and just pick the knee up off of the mat. Here for 3, exhale 2, inhale, and exhale 1. Step that left foot to meet your right. Hang in Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And then heel toe the feet together, bend into the knees, roll up, stand tall, Tadasana. Moving through our vinyasa now. So inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, plant the hands to the mat, and as you do so, step back, high plank. And exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up, up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Stepping the feet together now, we're going to come into that 3-legged dog again, so this time on the left side. So picking up that left foot, reaching it towards the sky. Instead of opening up the hips as I usually allow, you're going to close the hips this time. So really activating that left glute, maybe feeling a greater stretch in that right leg, those right hammies. And we'll be here for 2 more breaths. Make sure you're not sinking into your shoulders here. Not sinking into your right shoulder specifically. And with your next exhale, plant that left foot in between your hands, lower that right knee, make your way into your low crescent lunge. Again, give yourself all the adjustments you gave on the other side. So whether it be doubling up the mat, tucking the toes, whatever makes that right knee nice and comfortable, go ahead and do that. You're going to sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Make sure your tailbone is tucked. Good, and you'll immediately feel that. That makes the hip flexors stretch more intense. So really try not to sink into that lower back. Exhale 2, shrug the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. And exhale 1. Release that right hand to the inside of the left foot and reach that left hand up to the sky, coming into a twist. So we're twisting from the belly here. Again, you have the option to lift up that right knee away from the mat. Here for 3 breaths in total. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. Step that right foot to meet your left. Hang forward, Uttanasana. And then heel toe the feet together. Roll up vertebra by vertebra. Stand tall. Tadasana. You're going to walk the toes so that they're pointing at a 45-degree angle. Walk the feet out so that they're wider than hip distance apart. The toes can be hanging off of the mat. You're now going to do a kind of plie and come to find your malasana, your yogi squat. And we can close our eyes here. Maybe do a sigh out through the mouth. Really try to broaden the chest, soften the shoulders. I know this is quite intense. If you have a block and want to sit on it, please do that. And now in your own way, you're going to make your way into your child's pose once more. From child's pose, we're going to come into our sleeping pigeon, but I want your left leg to be bent and at the top of the mat, and your right leg must be extended. Okay, so coming to find your pigeon, your left knee is bent in between your hands, and we're not rolling onto the left buttocks, we're trying to keep our hips square. If you want more, you're going to try and walk that foot up so that your foot and knee are almost parallel to the top of the mat. And you can come to fold over that left knee, coming to find your sleeping pigeon, just chilling a bit here. A really good adjustment if you are sinking onto that left buttocks is you can slip a pillow underneath that left butt cheek, or maybe even a rolled up hand towel. So now you know for next time, I suppose. Inhale, you're going to rise up and then circle that right leg around. We're going to set up for Ardha Matsyendrasana. So step that right foot to the outside of that left knee. Your left leg is still bent, but if you need, you can straighten that left leg out in front of you. Otherwise, make sure that in any case, make sure that the sit bones are grounded to the mat. Make sure you're active into that left foot, so that left foot is flexing. Inhale, we reach up with that left hand, and exhale, twist to the right hand side, hooking that left elbow on the outside of the right knee. We're twisting to the right. Our right hand is rooted down in the mat, helping us remain upright, and we are twisting from our belly. Our gaze is over our right shoulder, and the gaze in this pose really helps take you further. So use your gaze, look behind you, and see if it allows you to twist just a little bit deeper with your next exhale. And now inhale, come back to center, and exhale, do an easy open twist to the left. You're going to straighten that left leg now if it isn't straight already, and lie back onto your mat. Your right leg is still bent. And now we're going to come into a supine twist. So you're going to pull that right leg down with your left hand. So pull that right knee down and across your body. Extend that right arm. Left leg is still straight. Just coming into a supine twist. Your right ear can be onto the mat. Gaze to your right hand. And really try to get that right shoulder down onto the mat. Then inhale, come back to center, so roll onto your back. And grab the backs of your knees, roll yourself up. Come to find a Navasana, boat pose. You can remain holding the backs of your knees, or if you want a little bit more for the core and hip flexors, extend the arms. Here for 2, inhale. And exhale 1. We'll repeat that sequence backwards. So now straightening the right leg and grabbing that left knee, pulling that left knee down to the right hand side with your right hand, extending that left arm out to Make a T. Left shoulder tries to flatten onto the mat, and your gaze is towards your left hand, so left ear is on the mat. A nice supine twist here. Untwist. You can just grab the back of your left knee and use it to kind of roll yourself up. And then step that left foot to the outside of the right knee. Take the same variation of Ardha Matsyendrasana as you did to the other side. So if your right leg was straight, keep it there. If it was bent, bend it. Make sure your sit bones are grounded, that right foot is active. Inhale, reach up with the right arm. Exhale, twist to the left hand side. Again, gaze is behind you, taking you further into this pose. With every inhale, lengthen through the spine, and with every exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Shoulders away from ears. Spine is long. And importantly, your sit bones are grounded to the mat. So in that way, we twist from the belly and we protect our sacrum. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, open up the arms, twist to the right hand side. Ending off the sequence with a sleeping pigeon on the right side. You're going to circle that left leg behind you, come to find your sleeping pigeon. Again, making sure you aren't rolling onto the right butt cheek, but your hips are square. So your right hip and left hip are aligned and directly parallel to the mat. You can come to fold forward in your sleeping pigeon. We'll be here for about 8 breaths in total. Just breathing. Inhale. And exhale, soften. You can now press yourself up with your hands and just slip that right leg to the back of your mat. So we're going to make our way into crocodile. So the legs are straight, the toes are pointing in, heels are flopping out. You're making a pillow with your hands and your head is resting onto your hands. You can give yourself a bit of a shimmy here. And I really just want you to connect with your breathing in this pose. So take some time to feel your belly rise and fall against the mat. And just try to slow down your breathing, lengthening it as we come to the end of our practice. Just cooling down. we're going to bring that left ear onto the mat now. Straighten the arms out to a T. Lift up that right leg and step the right foot to the outside of the left leg. Bring a bend into that right leg and roll onto that left shoulder. So we're in our locust sway here. I'll repeat the cues in case you don't want to look at the screen. But we're rolling onto that left shoulder. Our right knee is bent and pointing towards the sky. And our right foot is stepped to the outside of our left leg. Good. And with your next exhale, come back to your crocodile pose just for a second. Shimmy out through the hips. And then come to place that right ear onto the mat. Arms are out in a T. We're going to lift up that left leg now, bend into that left leg and place the left foot to the outside of the right leg, rolling onto that right shoulder, finding a nice supine twist here. And with your next inhale, we come back to center, come back to your crocodile, give yourself a bit of a shimmy. And now setting up for 2 locust poses or shalabhasana. You're going to inhale, zip the legs together, lift up the chest, straighten the arms alongside you, reach them behind you. So we're lifting the chest, lifting the legs. Good. Our gaze is forward and down. Inhale, lift the legs a little bit higher, lift the chest a little bit higher. And exhale, release, give yourself a shimmy. We're going to do one more, but this time you're going to clasp the hands behind you and pull the hands away from you. So when you're ready, inhale, make sure the legs are zipped, lift the legs off of the mat, lift the chest off of the mat, and reach that fist away from you, hopefully pulling yourself deeper into this pose. A little bit higher, and exhale, release, shimmy, shake it out. And then come to roll onto your back. We're going to set up for 2 half wheels. If you feel warm and it's within your practice after you do the first half wheel, you're more than welcome to do a full wheel. But for now, I'm just going to do 2 half wheels. So, making sure that the feet are hip distance apart. You can brush the heels with your fingertips. And with your next inhale, you're going to peel the lower back and middle back off of the mat. Then interlace the fingers behind you and roll either shoulder in. So we're lifting up through the chest. Our shoulders are grounded. We're grounded into our feet. And then release the clasp, slowly lower your back down to the mat. Let the knees fall in, heels are out. Just internally rotating after we externally rotated. And let's do one more like that. So make sure that the feet are hip distance apart. And as you inhale, You're going to peel the lower and middle back off of the mat, even the upper back. And then roll the shoulders in. Here in our half wheel. And exhale, release, come out of it. Walking the feet so that they are about mat width apart now. You're going to bring the arms out to a T and just let the knees fall over to the right hand side. Finding your supine twist, you can place the right foot onto the left knee, twisting deeper into this pose. So you should feel a bit of a hip flexor stretch as well as a spinal twist. You can grab the elbows up behind you. Your left ear can be onto the mat. And now bring the arms back out to a T. Knees back up to the sky. And with your next exhale, let them fall over to the left hand side. Taking the same variation as you did on the right hand side. So maybe you hooked the knee with the foot. And now untwist, bring the knees back up to point to the sky. You're going to straighten that left leg to the mat. Make sure your left foot is flexed. And then straighten that right leg up towards the sky. So right foot is towards the sky. Grab the back of your right knee and flex into that right foot. We're just doing a gentle leg stretch here. Make sure that your hips are grounded to the mat, so we're not rocking to the right hand side. And just try and pull that right leg towards your chest. Really flexing into that foot. And now what you're going to do is come into a figure 4. So place the outside of the right ankle onto the left knee. Thread your right arm through the space and pull that left leg to your chest. So a lying down figure 4 stretch. You can rock from side to side here, massaging the spine. Try to send that right knee out a little bit more, really getting a beautiful right hip stretch. Good, and now come out of it. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So straightening that right leg out and flat on the mat, reaching that left leg towards the sky, grabbing behind the left knee and trying to pull that left leg towards you, making sure that both hips are, so your left and right hip are stable and grounded into the mat. And you're flexing into that right foot. Also make sure that your shoulders aren't peeled off of the mat. Shoulders are on the mat. Now coming into your figure 4 on the left hand side. So outside of the left ankle comes onto the right knee. We weave our left hand through that space and grab that right shin, pulling that shin towards your chest. Flexing into that left foot, sending that left knee out a little bit more, so stretching into that left hip. And maybe pulling that right leg even closer to your chest. Again, you can rock from side to side, massaging into the spine. And with your next exhale, you can come to straighten both legs, resting them onto your mat. Straighten the arms alongside your body, palms are facing up. And come to sit up for your Shavasana. Let's take one inhale through our nose. And exhale, side out, let go. Maybe you want to do one more like this in preparation for your Shavasana. Go ahead and do so. You can start to wiggle into your fingers, wiggle into your toes, rotate the wrists and ankles, and then stretch the arms up behind you. Give yourself a full body stretch, and maybe side out here. Roll onto your right hand side now. And then push yourself up with your left hand and come to find an easy seat. So sitting cross-legged. Feel your sit bones grounded, your spine tall, the space between your eyebrows soft, your jaw soft, tongue falls away from the palate. And just bring your hands to heart center and come back to your intention one last time. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.